Attention, dear viewers. Today we open the doors to a world of tangled relationships and dark secrets, where betrayal and madness intertwine the truth. Prepare yourselves for an incredible tale of infidelity, where a wife who was deceitful and deceitful was hiding far more than her loved ones could have guessed. For an entire year, she misled everyone until it came out that her friend wasn't just any ordinary man. He was a maniac. Shrouded in mystery and anxiety, she leads us into the abyss of her own deceitful tricks, revealing the darkness that had penetrated her heart and corroded a world that seemed perfect. See how she slides along the edge of madness, looming over the abyss of betrayal into which she has dragged herself and her partner. What secrets does this enigmatic woman harbor? How did she manage to maintain the image of a devoted spouse while dark passion lurked in her heart and her lover's hands were soaked in blood? This story of an adulterer and a maniac will reveal to you the whole palette of feelings and open your eyes to how thin the line between the true face and the mask of lies. But beware, dear viewers. You have to plunge into the world of amazing stories of adultery, where historical facts are intertwined with fantasy, and the line between reality and fiction disappears. What will happen to this woman immersed in a world of scams and crime? Who will be able to pluck her from the grasp of a maniac and destroy this dangerous triangle of infidelity? Only one thing is clear. You are in for a mad journey inside the intricate mind of a man who plays with lives and will not flinch in the face of the darkest mystery. Join us as we uncover one of the most twisted tales of infidelity that has ever woven a web in the heart of our everyday world. Valentina had been married for 15 years. In that time, she had managed to buy a house, a car, and have 2 children. Her husband was a serious and responsible man, working hard. Feder and Valentina were an ordinary family. They quarreled and made peace occasionally, quarreled over nothing. But on the whole, they lived comparatively peacefully. Valentina was not jealous. She knew that her husband loved her, and she herself never gave him a reason to be jealous. Her friends asked her, "So you never once cheated on him?" "Not once. Why should I? I don't see why not." "Why? Ask our Aliona. She's already changed her 5th lover. She can't stop herself. I still wonder how she manages to hide everything from her husband for so long. But she goes to expensive restaurants, smartly dressed, and drives a brand new car. So still need to be able to. I don't know, girls. I think Valichka is great. Her husband is not a hobo. He loves her madly, and I do not think he ever cheated on her." Valentina made a joke of it, while she recalled how her family life had changed a year ago. Then she accidentally read the correspondence between Fyodor and Nika Marina. As it turned out, they had been together for 8 years. There was a big scandal. Valentina was going to file for divorce. It was the same correspondence that saved the day. In it, he said frankly that he loves his wife and children, never leave them, and met with her only to relieve stress and a change of scenery. Of course, at that point, the couple's relationship had already deteriorated. And what ideas could these speech when trust is lost? Valentina could not forgive her husband for a long time. They lived apart for some time. They reconciled only 6 months later, and only Valentina's mother and best friend Sofia knew about this unpleasant incident. The rest of the family saw the ideal family in front of them. "How do you live after that? Did you just forgive him?" Sofia asked her. "We live as before. I forgave him, but I haven't forgotten. At any scandal, I remind him of his Marina. He gets terribly angry, and plus the trust is undermined. Every time Feder is somewhere late, I think he's with someone else spending time." After Feder's secret was revealed, he became more attentive to his wife. He tried to pamper her, showered her with candy, gifts, and flowers. What will happen next? Valentina thought. As before, her husband, no longer pleased, sometimes you do not even want to see him. Reassures only that he loves children and does everything for them. Only her mother saw Valentina in such a depressed state. and in public she tried to pretend that all was well. At the time, Valentina had no idea how one chance encounter would change everything. It happened in the summer. During Valentina's terrible heat wave, her air conditioner broke down. She called her friend Sofia, who recommended a repairman. Valentina wrote down the number and was already on the phone 3 minutes later. She heard a pleasant man's voice with a slight crackle. The man's voice sounded pleasant and husky, and gave Valentina slight shivers of excitement. The man on the phone was very polite. After discussing all the details of the specialist's call, Valentina hung up impressed by the pleasant conversation. At the appointed time, the doorbell rang. The children were out walking and Valentina was home alone. When she opened the door, she saw a tanned, handsome man with a fine athletic figure. In his hands was a small suitcase of tools. "Well, where's our sick man?" the young man asked and entered the room. "Who, excuse me?" "Well, where's your air conditioner?" The man smiled, showing his mistress his perfect smile. "Oh yes, I'm sorry, please come in." Upon entering the room, the handyman began to examine the cause of the breakdown. He carefully inspected the air conditioner and proceeded to repair it. Valentina froze in amazement. She was overwhelmed with mixed feelings. On the one hand, she was inexplicably drawn to the stranger for some reason, and on the other, she reminded herself that she was not free and had to be prudent. "It's nothing serious, don't worry, we'll patch up your sick man and he'll be up and running like new in no time." The man made a few manipulations with the equipment and opened the window, checked the condition of the cords, the strength of the fasteners, and was about to close it, but accidentally touched a flower. Not expecting such an onslaught, it fell down and shattered on a neighbor's parapet. "Oh, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I didn't mean to." The man tried to justify himself, but Valentina didn't even have time to react. She was as if under hypnosis. "You're all right. Payment by cash or card. I'll give you a discount for the destroyed flower." Valentina came to her senses, took the receipt, and looked carefully at the young man. "Here's my business card. If you need me, call me. It says everything. You're definitely okay." Valentina looked at the business card. The master's name was Andre. She smiled confusedly and held out the required amount. "Thank you, but have a nice day." After the master left, Valentina stood like a dumbfounded for another 10 minutes, and her son's voice was sobering. "Mom, can we go to the neighbor's yard?" Misha returned from the sea. "Of course, darling, you can go." All day long, Valentina was under the impression. Andre's voice rang in her ears for a long time. "What is the matter with me? I acted like an idiot. It was only a master. I have to get back to reality," she thought. No sooner had she regained consciousness than the doorbell rang. Standing on the doorstep was Andre, holding a pot of Dracaena in his hand. "Wildly sorry, here's a new flower for you." "Again, I'm sorry I spoiled yours." "Oh no, you shouldn't have." I should. It's my fault." Andre handed the pot with the flower to Valentina. "You don't need anything else to fix." "No, thank you. Nothing else has broken yet." "That's too bad. I mean, it's good that it hasn't broken." "Well, I'll be off then." "Have a good day." "Yes, you too." Andrew went downstairs. Valentina looked after him for a long time. He turned around once more and smiled at her. "Okay, that's it. The man is very nice, but stop staring at him. It's not decent," Valentina thought, and closed the door. The next day, she was walking from the store with a bunch of bags and groceries. She saw a bus parked at the bus stop and ran after it. But the driver did not wait for her and left. One of the bag handles broke off and a few apples rolled out onto the ground. "Let me help you," came a familiar male voice with a slight hoarseness. Valentina looked up and saw Andre. "I'm here on a call, but I can give you a ride home." "Oh, you don't have to," Valentina said, picking up the scattered apples on the road. Andre bent down and helped her. They took one apple together. Their hands touched, and feeling an unprecedented shiver all over her body, Valentina took her time and yanked her hand away. "Sit down, I'll take you." "Well, if you don't mind," Valentina laughed. At the same moment, Andre picked her up in her bags and tucked her into his trunk of Valley's shopping. "Sit down." Valentina obediently sat down. At that moment, I wanted to scream with happiness. Being in such euphoria, she forgot all about her husband and children. They both chatted nonstop almost all the way home. As it turned out, they had a lot in common. As they pulled up to the driveway, Andre helped Vali out of the car and took her shopping home. "Oh, thank you. Thank you for helping me," Valentina smiled. "You're welcome. If you're not in a big hurry, I'd like to buy you a cup of coffee." Valentina hesitated a little. "I'd love to, but I still have a lot to do." "Well, if that's the case, I won't keep you." Andre smiled and disappeared behind the elevator doors. What an idiot I am. Why did I lie? I don't have anything to do. But on the other hand, I don't need all this. What if someone she knew saw it? Valentina reasoned. The next day, Valentina took her children to summer school. It was a private school that operated in the summer. There they spent the day playing, eating, singing songs, and learning English. After saying goodbye to them, she met Andre at the exit. He was holding the hand of a red-haired little boy, about 7 years old. "Hi there." Valentina said hello. "I didn't expect to see you here. I know almost all the parents." "Hi. We're here temporarily. We didn't have anyone to leave in with." "Is this your son?" "No." Andre smiled. "Nephew, if you're not in a hurry, we can have coffee somewhere." "Thank you. But I don't feel like coffee in this heat. Wait for me here. I'll take the child and we'll think of something." This time, Valentina did not hurry off and decided to wait for Andre outside. After a few minutes, he came out. "Get in the car. I want to show you something." Valentina looked at him and got in the car. After driving around town for a while, they stopped at a small outdoor cafe. "Stay in the car. I'll be right there." Before she knew it, Andre walked up to her. He was carrying 2 waffle cones with ice cream in them. "It's better than coffee. Let's go for a walk." Andrew took her hand, and they went around the corner of the cafeteria. There was a small clearing and a lake. There was a wooden bench on the shore. "Oh, how nice it is here!" Valentina gasped enthusiastically. "Thank you for talking me into coming here." "I didn't really talk me into it. She wanted to come. You could see that." With these words, Andrew touched Valentina's cheek. "No need. It was probably a mistake to come here with a man I didn't know very well after all." Valentina took his hand away and sat down on the edge of the bench. "I am not a woman of easy virtue. I am married. I have children. Wrong all this." Andrew sat down closer to her. "I understand it. I see it, and I appreciate it. But you, like me, are attracted to something. Don't deny it. I can feel it. You imagined it." Valentina stood up in the gloves and walked closer to the lake, turning her back to Andrew. "No, I didn't feel it." With these words, Andrew came up behind her and put his arm around Valia's waist. At that very moment, Valia turned around and looked at the young man. Passion, desire, and fear could be read in her eyes. "What am I doing?" Valentina asked, and she and Andre kissed. From then on, they began to see him every day. They went to nature, spent time in the hotel, in the country house, and enjoyed every minute of it. They wanted to be together. "You're really something, my friend. I didn't expect it from you. You were acting like a saint," Valentina told Sofia when she told her everything. "Stop it. I'm sick of it all. I hate myself. But he's like that. I can't tell you." And what are you going to do now?" "What about Fedor, the kids? What about them?" "I'm having a wonderful time. For the first time in so long, I feel happy. But be careful you don't tell your husband everything." "Why?" they'll probably kill me. Bulgad, Valentina, and Andrei continued to meet secretly. He gave her gifts, which she safely gave to Sofia, as she could not bring home, gave her money for various purchases, pleased her with nice little things. At one point, he even confessed that he loved her. Valentina reciprocated. "Now what do we do?" Valentina asked, laying her head on Andrei's chest. He looked at her and gently ran his fingers through her hair. "I don't know. Maybe we should drop everything and go somewhere." "Are you serious?" "Well, yes, why not? Your family is here, your husband. It's all pulling you back and not giving you complete freedom." "Stop it. I'm not going to leave my husband and my kids." At that moment, Andrew's face even changed, but he kept his emotions in check. Valia noticed it, but did not say anything. After another week, things became more complicated. Andrew changed drastically. He became jealous of her husband and children, flooding her with text messages and phone calls. He used to do this gently, but now his calls had become frequent and intrusive. "Oh, I don't even know what happened to him. He's changed so much. He's always calling, and he does it at any time of the day or night. I have to put the phone on silent." Once he called drunk. First he said all sorts of nasty things, and then he got to apologize. Valentina Sofia told me, "Well, what can I tell you? Your affair has dragged on. You have to leave him. Otherwise, remember my words, slip you some pig." That evening, Valentina thought for a long time, and when she had analyzed everything, she decided to slowly distance herself from Andrew. Suddenly, she became very busy. She took a job, and less often talked to him on the phone and responded to messages. Andrei went crazy, swamped her with messages, often called, waited outside the entrance, the store, the summer school, and when Valentina told him that she didn't want to see him anymore, he threatened to tell her husband everything. Valentina paid no attention to these threats. She blocked him on social networks and blacklisted him everywhere. A little later, strange accidents began to happen in Valentina's life. First, someone punctured the tires on their car. Then, as if with an axe, cut through the metal on the car on the side where Valentina usually sat. But when Valentina began to be tossed pictures of herself, her children, and her husband, she became frightened. That evening, she mustered up the courage to tell her husband everything. And when everything was cleared up, Valentina took her children and left for her mother's village. A few days later, she received a call from someone on an unfamiliar number and was silent on the phone for a long time. "Andrei, it's you. I know it's you. I'm not afraid of you anymore, okay? Her husband knows everything. You can leave me alone now." There was a long ringing tone on the phone. No one else called Valentina. In the fall, a car pulled up to her father-in-law's house. It was Fyodor, and when Valentina saw him, she went out into the yard. "Well, how are you doing, Valev? I miss you. So be one alone? No one's. Come back. I can't do without you." "You're all joking." "No, I'm serious. I've come to get you. Get ready." At that moment, the children ran out of the house. They were happy to see their father and hugged him tightly. Finally, the whole family was there. Dear listeners, this time I want to leave the conclusions for you. Please write what are the chances of this family living together for at least another year and a half. I think everything is clear here concerning my position. Here, of course, both husband and wife, yes. Each worth the other, don't they? Husband and wife are one Satan or whatever they say. Friends, in the meantime, I'll ask you once again to like this video for you a second. And for the channel, this is a very cool opportunity to grow. Please support me and the channel. I will be grateful to you. And I also don't say goodbye. See you soon.